How's it going, everybody? So in this video we're going to be discussing the Battle Pike in Pokemon Emerald's Battle Frontier. The purpose of this video and presentation is to kind of go over the Battle Pike, kind of give some expectation strategies and some insight into what the Battle Pike actually is. And like the main goal here is we're obviously trying to win the gold medal. Towards the end of the video, we're going to be kind of going over the team that helped me get the gold medal. I did recently get the gold medal in the Battle Pike, maybe like 2 weeks ago. I was able to get to room 341, which is pretty awesome. I didn't really think I'd get that high. But yeah, as of the recording of this video, that is my highest streak. As a reminder too, I always love Karen's quote. When designing teams and playing through the Battle Frontier and such, I mean, there's obviously things online you can always copy to do very well, especially like even like the team at the end of this video. However, it's definitely recommended to use some of your favorite Pokemon. Like, why not? Why not try and win with your favorites, you know? And if you get frustrated or you get annoyed, you can always design or build another team, and then you'll know that you'll probably have a higher chance of winning the gold medal, but you know, why not enjoy it with your favorite Pokemon, or at least try to. Some of the upfront things about the Battle Pike you should know. Essentially, when you play, you go through different types of rooms, and each round you can pick a new room to enter. And each of these rooms can be one of 8 different rooms. Sometimes you'll get a trainer battle, sometimes nothing will happen, sometimes your Pokemon will get healed, and sometimes it just kind of comes down to luck. But one thing that's very important is there's a nurse that provides some helpful, I guess, information that kind of helps decide what might be in one of the rooms. You can use this nurse to kind of play the odds of picking a room, depending on how your Pokemon are feeling, and the type of, I guess, strategy and risks you want to take. This is definitely different than like the Battle Dome and Battle Tower, where you know every round you're going to be faced with another trainer, and even after the Battle Dome and Battle Tower you're getting healed after each round. However, that is not the case in the Battle Pike. Each like iteration of the Battle Pike, you will go through 14 different rooms. However, that's like technically like 7 choices of the rooms you could pick. I'm not exactly sure why they do this. So like to get the gold medal, it's 140 rooms, but it's really like 70 choices. But anyway, if you clear 14 rooms, then you'll get sent back to like the lobby and you'll win your battle points. To get the silver medal, you need 28 rooms cleared, then you get to face Lucy, then you get the silver medal. For the gold medal, you need to complete 140 rooms, and then you get to face Lucy. The 8 different rooms that you can encounter, I have here listed. These numbers are arbitrary, I just identified them just for the sake of identifying them this way. One room is a normal single battle. You'll just go in, you'll have a normal battle, and then you'll walk out the room. That's it. Another room is similar to that. However, the room will have stronger Pokemon, and the benefit is you'll be healed after. With the room number 1 that we identified, you do not get healed after. And I believe after like room, let's say 8 or 9, something like that, the normal single battle, or room 1 and room 2, essentially have the same level of difficulty of the trainer. I didn't actually verify that for myself, but I think that actually makes sense. Room number 3 is a double battle, and you do not get healed after. Room 4 is a maze you have to go through and while the Pokemon appear. Room 5 is a free room, nothing happens, you just run right through it. Room 6 will inflict 1 to 3 of your Pokemon with some type of status condition. Room 7 heals like 1 or 2 of your Pokemon, and room 8, all your Pokemon in your party are healed. And again, these numbers aren't actually assigned to anything in the game. These are just things that I assigned for the sake of this video. So the nurse is going to give you 1 of 5 pieces of dialogue. However, the 5th one is just Lucy, so there's really only 1 of 4 things you're really going to get. What she says is essentially a clue on what the room she identified might be. So she'll say like, oh, look at the left, this left room will have blah, 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 blah. One of the things she says is, for some odd reason, feel wave of nostalgia, blah, 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 blah. So that will be either room 6 or room 7. Although I didn't verify the exact percentages for myself based on things on the internet. The rooms that we labeled with A have a slightly higher chance of occurring than B. So if the nurse says the room on the left has something about nostalgia, your Pokemon are either going to get inflicted with status conditioned, or 1 or 2 of your Pokemon will be healed. I just quickly updated this slide, this like dialogue instead of room, because that's kind of confusing. If the nurse says it is a trainer, sense presence of people, you're either going to have room 1 with the normal single battle, or all your Pokemon will be healed. If the nurse says that there's Pokemon wafting around, it's most likely going to be the wild Pokemon maze, or you could also be expected to face a tough single battle. Then the last thing is about whispering. That'll be an NPC room where it's a free room, or you're going to get a double battle. As just a reminder too, with this piece of dialogue, there will also be an identification or like a location, so left, center, or right, and that'll be the room she's talking about. The other two rooms she doesn't talk about it pretty much has just any probability of occurring, right? But either of those rooms won't be paired with the same room she's talking about. Just as an example, if she says, I feel a wave of nostalgia, then the room she's talking about will be 6 or 7. But the other rooms cannot be 6 or 7, if that makes sense. Some pretty important things to note. This can also play to your odds and advantage. If you're in the last room and the nurse gives the hint, she feels the wave of nostalgia, well, always take this room because this is a free room. Your Pokemon are gonna get inflicted with status, or you're gonna get healed, but regardless, the game ends. Room 3, a double battle cannot occur if 2 of your Pokemon are fainted. This will always be the NPC room, so always take it if 2 of your Pokemon are fainted. Healing rooms will also not appear if your team is fully healed. One piece of advice I'd give is to try and hit those Pokemon rooms, the Pokemon maze rooms, and use a move. When you use a move, your Pokemon lose some PP, obviously, and that's considered that your Pokemon aren't fully healed, so this will make the healing rooms appear. So if your Pokemon are fully healed and our nurse gives the hint, is it a trainer, sends people, there's a 100% chance that room will be the single battle room. And if your team is fully healed and the dialogue is for some odd reason, then there's a 100% chance that you're going to get that room 6, the status room, and your Pokemon will be inflicted with status condition. Definitely keep these hints in mind. I thought this quote is kind of fitting because the Battle Pike does have a lot of elements of luck in the sense that if you keep getting trainer battle rooms and no heals, that makes that run very difficult. However, you can be prepared and understand when there's opportunities and when you need to take certain risks. And in a sense, you can give yourself more luck than the game's offering you by making better decisions. But anyway, let's talk about some tips and strategies. So there are some strategies obviously, but I kind of want to mostly focus on the strategy that I implemented. So I was mostly focusing on choosing the rooms with the Pokemon wafting around in it, and I heard something must have been whispering. So the Pokemon wafting dialogue is going to be the rooms with Pokemon in it or very hard trainer battle, or relatively hard trainer battle. And the whispering room is a free NPC room, or it's going to be a double battle. My initial strategy was to focus on like the heal rooms and the status condition rooms, and this was just not working at all. I'll kind of go into more of that in a second, but I discovered that battling tough trainers and being healed after, to me, I consider that less risky in that decision than battling a trainer and not being healed after. Because if you're battling a normal trainer and after that you are not healed, who knows what that next room is going to be? That could be another battle. It could be another hard trainer. And I found that to like almost kill my runs. So knowing that after this battle, this match might be harder, but I know I will be healed after. That is a known condition after this room. If you enter that status room and you get inflicted with like, let's say like sleep or whatever, and then you go into a battle, that run or that room becomes very tough. My strategy was to keep my Pokemon as healthy as possible, even if it made sense to try and fight a risky or hard trainer. So that's one reason why I decided to pick the Pokemon room and the tough trainer, because to me the Pokemon room is a free room. I can also use PP or a move to make my Pokemon, I guess, quote, unhealthy, and then the heal rooms now have a probability of occurring. And the worst case is I just end up fighting a very tough trainer, but I'm going to be healed after. But my Pokemon should be going into that battle fully healed, which makes that room less risky. With the Whispering room, to me, this made a lot of sense because it's either a free room or it's a double battle, which I designed the team to handle double battles quite nicely because we'll get into it in a second, but we had Gengar and Metagross. Gengar's strong and fast, so it could usually take out a Pokemon quickly, but Metagross with Earthquake with the Choice Band does a lot of damage. So I designed my team and ordered them correctly to kind of account for this and handle these rooms. So I just had to really worry about not getting those single battle rooms or the status inflicting rooms. As again, when those stack over time, that I've definitely noticed that just ruins my runs. So another tip, like we kind of mentioned before, avoid the status inflicting rooms, especially when your Pokemon are fully healed, because it obviously will be that room. If your Pokemon aren't even like damaged, don't even attempt to go in this room in the hopes of getting a heal, because the risk of getting status inflicted with like with really anything, that makes the next rooms very risky. However, I decided to choose these rooms when my Pokemon were weak, and in hopes of getting that heal, because it's like, if the run looks like it's going to be ending soon because my Pokemon are just so destroyed, is really getting like an extra paralysis on one of my Pokemon going to be like that detrimental? Probably not. The reward of potentially getting healed in that situation outweighs the risk of getting in a worse spot. So that's kind of some of the decisions you're going to have to make when you're going through these rooms, is choosing between taking that risk of having your Pokemon become weaker in hopes of getting a heal. Going back to the room slides, there wasn't really any situation where when I sensed the presence of people, that dialogue, I never really selected that room, regardless if my Pokemon were fully healed or if they were really damaged, because to me it's just too risky. And I'm getting put into a situation where I know I'm going to be faced with a battle and I'm not going to be healed after. However, if my Pokemon are damaged, I can't take that risk and go into this room in hopes that my Pokemon are healed, because that battle might ruin the whole run because I'm going in quite weak. And obviously when my Pokemon were pretty unhealthy, the dialogue with the Pokemon wafting around in it, I really didn't want to select that either, even though there's a higher probability of it being almost a free room with the wild Pokemon appearing. If you get put into that tough battle and your Pokemon are pretty weak, you have a high chance of losing that room. So in the sense, when your Pokemon are weakest, the Yestalgia room and the Whispering room in my head become the less risky rooms. And again, it's going to be dependent on the types of risk you're going to take and kind of how you go through your decisions, but this is kind of what I was discovering. Moving back down, there was something that I did not try, but this was something that I found online that a lot of people were doing. They're using the move aromatherapy, so this will cure all of your status inflicted Pokemon. So you can actually focus on, so like Pokemon like Vileplume, and I think Blissey is the main one you're going to be using with this. You use one of these in your party, and you can target the room with the status inflicted person in it, and it's not going to affect your run that much because you're just using aromatherapy to heal or cure all of your Pokemon. And also, if you run a Blissey, you run soft boiled anyway, so you can heal your Pokemon outside of battle. This to me makes a lot of sense, and I think you go probably really far with this. But again, I have not tried it, but I think I should, just because it sounds pretty fun. But yeah, from my understanding with this strategy, you're focusing on the rooms where you're going to get status inflicted, because essentially that's a free room for this. As a reminder though, sometimes you're going to have to take risks on rooms you really don't want to, and the luck may or may not be on your side, and this is just how the Battle Frontier is, and especially the Battle Pike. Sometimes you're just not going to have the luck, and sometimes you will. When I got to like the 300 plus rooms, there were some like rounds where I didn't have a single trainer battle. It was just that lucky. And there were some rounds where I got 4 trainer battles in a row with no heals. So it's just kind of just how it is sometimes, you know? And I think you just got to understand that, you know, like, it's just like, I wouldn't get frustrated. Sure, it's very annoying. I believe me, I feel your pain, as well as I bet on many other people who are grinding the Battle Frontier. But you're just gonna have to kind of get back into it and just brush it off. It's just gonna be how it is. But again, using the information that we have based on what the nurse says gives us a better edge in our luck and our decision making. This is also something you'll probably have to feel out within your team itself and understanding what it can and can't do at certain times. So going over the team that actually got me that was like 340 room run, we had a Gengar, Metagross, and my low tick. Metagross is so cool. So I didn't actually design this team specifically for the Battle Pike. I designed it for the Battle Dome, however, it actually works really well for the Battle Pike. So Gengar was the lead, EV trained, IV bred, whatever, special attack and speed, very fast and powerful Pokemon. Yeah, Gengar was also first in the party. We gave it the focus band too, just as a way to kind of live a little bit longer too, just in case. So benefits of Gengar: can't be poisoned. Also moves like Explosion, Glare, Toxic, they're not effective against Gengar. These are moves that you're going to see a lot, especially if you run through the Pokemon mazes. Toxic is on, actually I think my Lotic, Dusclops, and Seviper have that. Don't quote me though on that. I know definitely Seviper has Toxic. Glare is also a move that Seviper had, and it's a normal move, so Gengar's not affected. And Explosion is a move that Electrode has later on in the higher rounds that is also not affected with Gengar. If you're going to be targeting the rooms with the Pokemon mazes, you need a Pokemon that's very fast, because you need to be able to run away, you know, just how it is. And also, if a Pokemon can't be inflicted by a lot of status conditions, then that's obviously very helpful too, and Gengar has both of these. So specifically for my case with Gengar, in the wild Pokemon rooms, I was prioritizing Scyther and Electrode. Mostly Scyther because Electrode only appears like later on, because Scyther cannot harm Gengar really in any way. It had Poison Fang, Toxic Glare, and I think Sludge Bomb or something like that. And it would usually just always try to use Glare or Poison Fang. It doesn't affect Gengar, and it doesn't do enough damage where it would ruin any runs, but I can at least use a move in those mazes to make the heal rooms then appear. So that was a huge benefit from Gengar. And sometimes I would hang out in the wild Pokemon rooms for a little while until I saw Scyther and then just did what I had to do. And I noticed I was taking risks on like things like my Milotic and Dusclops, because those are other Pokemon that can appear in those mazes. But the problem is my Milotic has Hypnosis, Dusclops has things like Will-O-Wisp, and when Gengar is, burned or asleep, it's not ideal. So I'd rather spend more time and wait for the opportunity with something like Scyther to then use the move that I wanted to use so I can get that edge, if that makes sense. But yeah, Gengar's move pool, Thunderbolt, Giga Drain, Fire Punch, hits a wide variety of different things, as well as Destiny Bonds, also really good for targeting the tough battles because I know I'm going to be healed after. So if Gengar could handle something and then take something out with it, then Milotic and Metagross just need to handle one other Pokemon. Metagross is just overall super powerful. Clear Body was also kind of a helpful ability, as there are things like Lucy does have Gyarados and Intimidate's a thing. So things like that, you can't lower its status. I decided to go with Choice Band because Metagross hits so hard with it. And when we do get into the double battles, because I also was again targeting that based on my strategy, Rock Slide and Earthquake with the Choice Band does a lot of damage in the double battles. Also, Metagross is Steel, can't be poisoned, always a benefit. And one thing with my Milotic and Metagross is that with my lead being Gengar, I can then switch in my head safely into Metagross or my Milotic in like the harder battles, or the harder single battles, and not necessarily have to worry because both my Metagross and my Milotic have some level of, I guess, beef or resilience where I think they could handle 1 or 2 hits. Again, that's if I had to switch out of Gengar into one of those. Moving on to my Milotic, the ability Marvel Scale is actually very fitting in this. I didn't plan this. When my Milotic is inflicted with a status condition, its defense actually gets raised, and this Milotic was trained to be very beefy. I think HP, special defense, and speed is HP, defense, and special defense are these stats that we trained. So already pretty tanky. Then if it's all of a sudden paralyzed or something, it gets even tankier. We also gave it leftovers so we can heal, and we also have recover too, so we can gain some health back and kind of stall the game out with Toxic, with hopefully a Pokemon that can be afflicted with that. But yeah, again, good to switch into from Gengar. So this was the team that I ran with, and again, I found success with the team by focusing on the wild Pokemon rooms, being fully healed going into the trainer battle rooms if that came up. But also if we had an opportunity to hit those whispering rooms, then either it's a free room or we had that double battle, or hopefully we can kind of get through that pretty easily with Metagross and Gengar. Sometimes though, you gotta switch into Milotic, which also has Surf, which can hit both other Pokemon too. So kind of playing the rooms that I think would be the most beneficial based on my team. And again, kind of just increasing the probability of rooms that I'm gonna have success in by minimizing going into other rooms that just the team and my strategy is not gonna handle. But again, there are other teams, there are other strategies. This is just the one that I did. I'm going to leave some of these links in the description, obviously YouTube channel, but we got a very good Reddit post too with a lot of good resources for the Battle Frontier. I did not make this Reddit post or anything like that, so all the credits go to the people who actually, design the documents or the website. Also within that Reddit post, there's a really good Excel spreadsheet that lists all the Pokemon in the Battle Frontier. Again, I didn't make this, someone else did. Because the link is so important, I did just put the Dropbox link in this description, or it'll be in the description. It's also in the video or on the presentation. Super helpful. Highly recommend viewing that if you plan on doing anything within the Battle Frontier. The Battle Pike was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I think I got frustrated in the beginning because it was really annoying to play through the game and then just lose out of nowhere. But after understanding, yeah, this is actually a great point. In the runs that I lost, I kind of went back and been like, where did I lose? Because it wasn't that room that I lost in, it's a 1 or 2 or 3 rooms before, which is 3 decisions earlier. So it's like, why did that room snowball? And the rooms where my Pokemon were getting status inflicted would turn into a no heal after that room would turn into a battle where my Pokemon would get withered away. And then maybe I'd hit another room where my Pokemon would get put into another battle and not get healed. And it's like, so I lost by being unlucky in the sense by not hitting a heal room. But in reality, I lost because I made the decision, possibly, you know, assuming you made the decision to enter that status inflicted room, maybe to get a heal, maybe to not. So for me, avoiding those rooms where you're getting status inflicted or not getting healed after a battle, to me seemed very risky. And after that, that's again when I found success. And I think that's very important. That's definitely the point that I want to kind of drive home. Keeping your Pokemon fully healed as possible is important. So some people might be asking, well, you should probably take let's say room 8 here, or there's room 7 here. But the chance of getting injured further without getting the heals isn't the best. Is to me too risky to want to pick those rooms. By selecting the rooms with the Pokemon wafting around in it, or the NPC room, gives me, based on the team I designed, the highest chance of keeping my Pokemon as healthy as possible while minimizing the chance of going into a room that's going to snowball into like a state where I can't recover from, and then eventually that run's going to be like destroyed. Anyway though, the Battle Pike was actually a lot of fun, and definitely will kind of play it again some more, but I will be moving on to other sections of the Battle Frontier now. Let me know down below if I missed anything that you think should be added to this presentation or video. We could do some revisions or updates in the future. Definitely want to help as many people as possible, but also as a reminder, have fun. It's a game. We're playing some old Pokemon. Design a team that you think is going to be a lot of fun based on your favorites, and just enjoy. Anyway though, take care everybody. See you in some of the videos. We got a whole lot of Pokemon content on the channel. Take care.